talk about the street, but not the voices. This is voices of the youth, real pain, but purpose. Authentic and unedited, empowered and resilient. Speaking from the soul, and if you know experience. Dreams of better living in the flourishing communities. Navigating life together and promoting unity. Real stories, real you, real change. Voices beyond the streets, so like we better begin. Yeah.
I see a lot of on the news that they get separated, kids like 5 years old, 2 years old, getting separated from the parents.
I'm like whitewashed and not like Indian enough. And then in school, I'm not too like American enough.
What does growing up in an immigrant family really look like? And why is it important for us to understand this? Let's talk about it.
Hi everyone, my name is Christine and this is Voices Beyond the Streets. These are my co-hosts.
I'm Biba.
And I'm Genesis.
Today we're honored to introduce a special guest, Natalie.
Hello everyone, I'm Natalie.
In this special segment, we're talking about 1, what it's like growing up in an immigrant family, 2, how it affects daily life in regards to school and relationships, and 3, how it shapes identity. Let's dive into it. First, how's everyone doing?
Good.
Everyone remember to brush their teeth?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can smell your breath from here. But I hope all is well in the audience. And Natalie, would you like to start us off? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay, so my name is Natalie Rojas. I'm 17 years old. I am a senior this year. A little bit about myself, I would say that I'm a daughter of a proud immigrant, from 2 immigrant parents. They came here when they were young. My mom came here with my grandparents when she was around 2 years old. Then came along my father, and then he came with my aunts and other family members. They also came with family friends.
What about you, Biba? Could you share a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, I'm Biba and I'm 16 years old and I'm originally from India. My parents came here for like the American dream that everyone comes here for, and they built like a better future for me and my siblings, themselves too. And I feel like it's like hard balancing like the Indian life and the American life at school and both at home.
Wow, so it sounds like both you guys have very interesting backgrounds. And I do think it's really important that we learn and understand different cultures and their experiences, especially with settling and managing here in the US. The things they don't really like teach us about in school, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can't speak to immigration in the same way as I was born in the US to parents who were also born here. But I am African American and I do have descendants from Africa. So I definitely understand what it's like to be like Black in America and deal with like racial issues and like things that kind of make me uncomfortable, like, things like that. And being in my grandmother's stage plays Black Butterfly, I definitely learned like a lot about our history. The things that they don't really teach us in school, and most of the time they're purposely hidden. Kind of like how African Americans, they were one of the first immigrants to come here and help build America. And just a lot of things about our history that I definitely learned from being in the play. I'm very proud to be African American, and I wouldn't change that even if I got the opportunity to. But I definitely respect other cultures, and I definitely admire what they bring to the American experience. So growing up in different cultures, how does that affect like relationships in school?
First, I'd like to say it's really beautiful that you're proud of your heritage and just your family. I think being in touch with those roots really helps you become who you are and just helps you find your ultimate source of happiness. Natalie, would you like to answer?
Yes, of course. I would say that in school, I'll have to like balance being in different cultures with different people, like as in classmates, teachers. So it'll probably be like getting along with balancing those 2 cultures. So me being Mexican, I could be around other people who are Asian, African American. It would be different, kind of complicated, difficult to.
Like different mindsets.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like balancing relationships is different if you're like different cultures. I feel like everyone has like different like experiences they came from, so they might have like different mindsets about different things. So it's just knowing like and respecting everyone's like opinions, because you don't know like what they came from or like where they came
culture also really impacts the choices we make, the actions, and what we're really passionate about. Like, I'm lucky to come from a school that has a lot of diversity. We have a lot of minorities, and that helps me learn and be more aware of who's in our space, who's in America, who helps America become the country we are today. And it also is really interesting to learn about the differences between cultures, not because it's a bad thing, but because it is really beautiful.
I feel like in school, the way it affects me is just like sometimes I feel like in earlier stages of my school, I was in a predominantly white school. So just trying to figure out how to balance like being okay and like knowing who I am and being comfortable with that, and also trying to find a way to kind of fit in so I don't feel like I'm so separated from everyone. That was definitely a struggle, but as I grew up, I was more confident in like who I was, so I didn't feel like I needed to change who I was in a way to fit in with everybody else. And I feel like that's definitely something that I've been working on as I get older and like into higher grade levels.
Genesis, I agree with you, like trying to fit into school, like not trying to be separated, because I feel like at home I'm like whitewashed and not like Indian enough. And then at school I'm not too like American enough, like not with the American culture. It's like different things that people do. So I feel like it's like the identity I have is like this balancing both of those and being true to myself.
But what are some challenges that come with being from an immigrant family?
I would say that some challenges from coming from an immigrant family will be that a lot of people may misunderstand us, or misunderstand, in my personal experience, that, oh, she won't have the opportunities as in other American families have, or you can't become this because you're coming from the very low. You're not coming from high,
Like
high
higher
class.
class.
yeah, there we go, yeah. I would say that.
So what's one thing you're most proud about your family's heritage?
I would say the values that I've learned, like Natalie, what you said. My parents also came from nothing and built something. So it's just like it taught me that, first of all, it doesn't matter where I am now. I can get the dreams that I want to go to as long as I put the work in, as long as I persevere. And there's so many challenges with that. There's so many difficult pathways, especially when you've come from a different country, because you have to fit in, you have to adapt, and you have to get what you want. So my values and my favorite part of being from the family that I am is what I've been taught and what I carry with me today.
I like how like close my family is. Like being Indian, it's more about family. Like I get taught like family is like the most important thing. Like being good with everyone and having a good relationship with everyone is like good and perfect. Like respecting your elders, even like people that are younger than you, respecting and being kind to everyone. Like my parents have taught me, like even being like friends with your neighbors is such an important thing, because you're gonna live their entire life for longer.
I agree with it, but I can relate to that. That my family taught me to be very family oriented, and not just with family, with friends too.
Yeah.
That's very important. Also, that to always reach for that goal that I want, and anything I could do, anything I want, I can accomplish. Working hard is a big thing in my family. To always work hard. You could get anything by working hard and just believing in yourself.
I think something I'm really proud of is definitely the way I was raised, because coming from a Black person raised in America, we usually deal with like stereotypes and like they think of us to be one way. So I was definitely glad that I was raised to be confident like who I am, and I don't feel like I have to change myself to like also be like other Black people, or I don't feel like I have to change myself or change who I am, because I was often called whitewashed because I wasn't, I don't know how to describe it, but like because I was different, let's just say that. But I'm definitely proud of the way I was raised, because I'm definitely confident in who I am. And
I feel like another challenge with coming from an immigrant family is that you're grouped with certain people, and you're just seen as like, let's just say, if I'm Indian, right? A lot of people at previous schools were just like, oh, she's like those type of Indians, and they had like these racist jokes, and they saw me as a certain way and didn't get to know me. So it's like sometimes we can bring in racism and stereotypes that take away from an immigrant as a person and just places them as a label.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
I feel like racism plays like a big role in where we live because people don't think about others' feelings. They just label them, as you said, like as a certain person. They don't really get to know who they are. They don't really get to know like where they came from and like experiences they have. They just have like a group for them, like, oh yeah, they're like this person, they're like this, but they can be like different, like totally different, opposite.
So Natalie, why do you want to become an immigration attorney?
Well, the reason I want to become an immigration attorney is to help families. I see a lot of on the news that they get separated, kids like 5 years old, 2 years old, getting separated from their families, and that's I just think that it's not okay. Also to raise the voices of, people who are scared to raise their voice and being unheard. I feel like it's important to help those certain people because I just think that, they didn't do nothing wrong. They come here for a better future to help their family.
My aunt is an attorney. She's not an immigration, but she's an attorney. And despite being discriminated against, like in work or like the law firms that she worked at, she always found the work very rewarding. Because she's the type of person who loves helping others and like bringing justice to situations and bringing justice for those who need representation but often weren't able to afford it. Yeah, they often weren't able to afford it. It was definitely something that she worked with a lot. And she always talked about how like the work, it was definitely a lot getting there, but she said it was always very rewarding and it's definitely needed. And I think you would be great at it because you have such a passion for it and it's not just about how much they're going to pay you.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like we need more like people that are wanting to help others, not just for like the money, like Genesis said, but really have like the passion to like get people where they want to be and help them succeed.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, with people whose voices are unheard, and it's not, for me, it's not about money, it's about helping those who can't get help or people who are just scared to come and be like, hey, you know what? Yeah.
And I feel like we as people sometimes prioritize what we gain from a journey, like the material goods, money, status, power, and we forget the values of why we wanted to become what we become. And I think if you hold on to your compassion and also your understanding for these families, you would be a great immigration attorney. But what is your hope?
My hope?
What do you hope to do once you are? Like, do you wish to just save families or like make an impact in certain?
I say to save families. Me personally, my hope is to save families and just make them stick together. Helping them stick together. Like I said, I come from a family who's very family oriented. Family is a big important thing. Coming for that and seeing that in my family that we're supposed to always stick together no matter what, and then seeing that on the news that families are getting separated, I don't want to see that. I wouldn't want that happening to my family. I definitely don't want that happening to other families. So I think that will be my power.
I think that's really noble. And guys, if the viewers are taking away one thing from this episode, what do you wish it is?
Well, we can't learn everything in such a short time period, but my hope is that what people learn is that people who immigrated here to the U.S., they're just like American families. Like, they also have struggles, but they also have dreams and aspirations that can really help the overall progress in the U.S. And that every person has value, that you should always respect others and value them and their purpose, not only in the U.S., but like all around the world too, because honestly, hate is just such an ugly thing and like there's really no way to justify it.
I would say remembering that every family has a unique story to share. Not everyone has the same problems they come from, not everyone comes from the same place. So just respecting, like Genesis said, just respecting everyone, no matter like what happens, like just being there for them and just knowing, like, not hating on them.
I agree with Genesis that most immigrated families and American families have the same struggles in our life. I would also say that a lot of immigrant workers, they have a big impact in the economy. Mm-hmm. So if we would take those immigrated workers away, they wouldn't really have
that the economy will collapse.
Well, thank you for all your comments. Thank you, Natalie, for being here. We loved hearing about your story. And we are rooting for you to become the attorney you always wanted to become. So today, essentially, we've talked about just how different experiences immigration families have, how they're not just labels, they're each unique story, and how really understanding them and seeing them as human before we put a label on them is so important because families are getting torn apart. And family and compassion and empathy is something that we all must really recognize. And I think, Natalie, for you being an immigration attorney isn't just a great accomplishment for yourself, for your family, for your values, but it's also a great inspiration for the future generations of girls and boys, and just anyone really, no matter gender, no matter how you identify, to chase their dreams and make an impact in this world. So thank you for your bravery.
Thank you so much.
But this is the end of our special segment. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Please do leave comments, questions, feedback, and a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe and take care. We can't wait to see you next time to talk about conspiracy.